there, guys, it's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about the Results Incubator tonight. And I have an amazing guest who's absolutely going to inspire you and show you what's possible when you elevate your thinking around, who you are, what you do, and what you can bring to the marketplace. Her name is Robyn Roots, and I'm delighted to have Robyn here today. I want to welcome you, Robyn, to the Results Incubator.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here and thank you for this opportunity.
So, for those of you who are just joining me, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I got started in my company over 20 years ago. And I had this idea that I wanted to figure out how to package my background as a corporate trainer and help other individuals who had knowledge and expertise and education that they wanted to birth and put out in the marketplace, but they didn't know the highest value ways to do that. Fast forward, I've had the opportunity to coach thousands of women, sharp, smart, amazing women who have decided that they want to figure out equally how to reach a greater audience, how to charge more for their services, how to stand in their value in tremendous ways, how to pitch, how to coach, how to sell, and how to consult. Many of my clients also license their content and sell what they know in completely different ways without trading time for dollars. So you are in the right place tonight. Every month I do a results incubator. I feature one of my clients. The reason I do this is because my clients are awesome, but also so that you know what's true out there. I know when you're looking at social media, you don't often know what's real. And so I love to host the results incubator. So you get to hear firsthand from clients I've had the opportunity to work with, and they get to share what their experience and their journey or how they're making success happen. So tonight, I'm featuring Robyn Roots, an amazing client. So, Robyn, tell them who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Well, my name is Robyn Roots. I've been a dialysis nurse for over 33 years. I am a nurse by day and a film producer by night. And I worked with people in high functioning organizations that have been affected by kidney disease. And I help them with these challenges through different type of educational platforms that I develop for them, and also mentoring, and also just helping them to live a better quality of life.
So, you're a nurse by trade. So, how long have you been in the nursing profession?
33 years.
So, 33 years, which is an incredible long time. And then what made you make that transition, from nurse to now entrepreneur? What was that spark for you?
Well, I had set some goals for myself, and I had a goal to finish a book. And I ended up hearing from a childhood friend that was in the film industry, and he offered me an opportunity to work with him in film as an executive producer. And that was all new for me. And so after meeting with him and the producers and writers, I decided to go to Orlando just to get a feel for what they needed me to do and understand what I was investing in. And when I got on the set, I fell in love with it. And I've been doing film ever since, because I realized by reading different scripts that it helps people, it empowers people, because a lot of times you think you're the only one going through something, but there are a lot of people that can learn from your story. And also it resonates with them so that they can have the courage to make some changes. So I've been in film going on 7 years now.
So this is incredible. So you're nurse for 33 years and you decide to go for your dream, which is to be a film producer. So
Yes.
share with us one of the biggest ahas or takeaways that you had for yourself when you stepped inside of this dream of film, which is completely different than obviously your medical profession. So tell us, how were you able to do that?
I think my biggest aha moment is that it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, because I had the skill sets from being a nurse and supervising and starting dialysis units, to where I knew if it was short staff, but we still had the same volume of work to do, how to use the team more effectively. And that's what I found in film. A lot of people been in film a long time, and I'm all about time management. So they would say 6 weeks to film. I'm like, I don't have that much time. We could do it in maybe 14 days once I look at it, because a lot of times I think with film and anything that's kind of high powered and high energy, people want to bring their friends to watch everything and enjoy the festivities. But to me, that's work. So nobody's on set but the people that are actually acting. And also what we do on set stays on set, because you want that element of surprise. We don't want people taking pictures and capturing what you're putting all this money into to create and get a following. So that was real easy for me to transition my leadership skills. And what I found as well, I was mostly the only female, and I was like coming on set as the novice, but I ended up leading the team and integrating my nursing skills to help us to save money, save time, and really teach them not to linger around. Sometimes people like to say, oh, I work 16 hours. I'm not trying to work 16 hours. I'm trying to get in, get out, and set our goals. So that's why I think I've been recruited so heavy, because of those pieces. That's what they talk about. She's all about business, and I am.
So tell us about your film, and because you've had an amazing year, okay? And I'm gonna ask you to brag a little bit. So tell us about your film specifically, and then tell us about the success of that film. All right. And Robyn, I really want you to step inside of it for the viewers who are just meeting you and understanding that you, 33 years, were a nurse. And then you made this transition to film producer, stepping into your dream, and you created tremendous success around this film. So please tell us, what have been the results of you stepping inside of your dream?
Well, like I said, when I started, I was executive producer, where I was investing in other people's projects. And I slowly moved to the front of the line. And when COVID hit, I had an opportunity to watch the medical profession go through a transition I've never seen before, almost pure panic and fear in the faces of experts. And during that time, nurses was coming to me, kind of telling me their stories, and I was comforting them, but I was spending most of my time in the chapel trying to come up with a plan to help them, because they were on the front line. As nurses, we didn't sign up to be on the front line with something like this, but it happened. And so I decided to start keeping notes, and then I decided to make a film, catch them in real time. And I'm glad I did, because I did have two of my peers to pass away. So trying to get their stories and how they felt as they were watching patients die quicker than we've ever seen in the history. People would get admitted, and probably within 6 hours they had passed away, because we didn't know what COVID was. And so I started spending time with nurses, recording their stories, because some of them were sleeping in their cars, some of them were staying at the hospital, and some of them were just staying in hotels because they was afraid to hurt their kids or their husband or their parents, because we take care of our parents at our age. Most of our parents are much older, so they're taking care of them. And so I began to counsel them and really work with them on a mental health level, because some of them were suicidal. They saw things that they've never seen. And, physicians during that time, and a lot of it's not talked about. Suicide, we don't talk about it, but some physicians took their lives as well, because this was huge and we didn't know what we needed to do. So I created a film called 2020 Year of the Nurse, and it captured 13 practitioners all over the country in real time in COVID. They were still on the front line working. They still were dealing with their issues. And then Black Lives Matter collided with COVID-19. And that was huge for the country. And I met some courageous nurses that challenged their organizations, because they didn't say anything about it. Even though we were in COVID, but young Black men were dying, and they didn't address it. So we had mental health challenges really going to an all-time high. So I made sure that I interviewed those nurses to get their take on it. And then with the marches and everything, just talking about how we have to stick together as a country. So the film talked about Black Lives Matter and how it collided with COVID, and then mental health, and then also discrimination in the healthcare field that we don't talk about as a career because of the HIPAA violations. However, we can share our stories because it's our truth without sharing confidential information. And I saw that everything kind of lined it up all over the country, that everybody was dealing with these issues. And so this film really resonated with a lot of people, not just nurses and doctors, but regular people, because we talked about COVID and how we had to be everything for the patient, and the world appreciated that because they was not allowed to come into the hospital. So the nurse had to be everything. And so
Sure.
the nurses shifted a lot because we have a saying in medicine. I work with dialysis patients that walk in, hug me. ICU nurses work with non-walkie-talkie patients. So during this time, those nurses had to really pull deep for their skills because they was dealing with a level of family engagement that we don't normally deal with.
Sure.
So all of those things we had to shift. And so the film really resonated with so many people. And I have traveled with this film to film festivals. We've won 9 awards. We've been to the East Coast and the West Coast, and that was my goal. I
So
am
tell us the 9 awards that you've won. Do you recall? Like, can you remember? Because they're pretty amazing, right? So
I actually have my list here because it's so many of them. We won Best Documentary at Bronson Film Festival in Atlanta, which was huge. That was the first film festival. It was online, but we won it. We won the Orlando Film Festival, Best Documentary, Impact Documentary, Best Recognition. The Orlando Urban Film Festival, I won honorable mention for a documentary. I won a Phenomenal Woman in Film Best Director Award. And the Impact Doc Award, I won Award of Recognition. The Indie Fest Award of Recognition for Documentary Feature, and the Indie Fest Award for Recognition of Viewer Impact, Motivational, Inspirational Documentary. And then we went to the Michelle Film Festival in California. We were nominated for 3 awards: Best Song, Best Documentary, and Director. And it was just like a dream come true. And we also, I wrote a song, 2020 Year of the Nurse, and it has been nominated in 3 film festivals. And this past weekend, I had the opportunity to perform it for the first time. It was officially 1 year old on October 20th. And I always tell God he's got jokes. So I am a nurse, a film producer, an author, and now I am a performer. So I think I think nurses can do anything, and if you just trust the process. I thought I would be a little intimidated by the crowd, but it seems like I was giving a lecture. So they were so inviting, and it was just so blessed, and so many tears after the song because they said, "You get it, you get us." You know, they saw all of the process of COVID and the nurses passing away and how we honor them. So
what I love about this, Robyn, is the fact that, for the viewers, okay, they are women just like you, sharp, smart, incredible women who are in many ways looking to recreate their next. And you stepped right into your next. So what allowed you to do that? Like, how is it mindset wise? Were you able to wrap your head around your next? And I want you to think about this from the perspective of there's someone who would really benefit from understanding your thought process. And how is it that you were able to take your background as a nurse and make this pivot in a completely different way, in a completely different industry, and then to win all of these awards and accolades for best documentary? What is the mindset message that you would like to share with our viewers?
for me as a nurse, I say this to myself a lot. It might sound strange, but I say it, paper can't hurt anybody. I've spent my whole career saving lives and protecting people from infections and just anything that would make their health decline. And so when I'm creating things that I want to do, it doesn't have any fire in it. I can't mess it up, if that makes sense. And so I've talked to multiple coaches, and they would stare me in different ways. And when I met you and we started working together, and I told you, I said, I'm the kidney nurse. I've been an expert for years. I'm specialized, and then I'm a film writer. And they keep colliding together. And so I'm like, am I a filmmaker or a nurse? And you said all of that makes you, marketable in who you are. And I can tell you that both of those dreams that I'm walking in are moving at the speed of lightning right now. And I think when they hear nurse by day, film producer by night, it's like, oh my God. And then you're an author and you wrote a song, and it's like, I'm not going to say they were easy, but they weren't as hard as state boards and keeping people safe. So now I feel like I'm living my best life because I'm prepared for this time. And I think as you look at pivoting, look at what you do with grace, and trust the process. Don't let anybody talk you out of it, because when you have to study at night and prepare, it's different from when you just know it.
Yeah. So I love this because, you know, you built a business based on what we call ease and grace,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that means that you've operated within your brilliance. And we can only operate in our brilliance by owning what we're really good at, right? And trusting that part of ourselves. And I love that you're sharing your story, because there's some person out there that's thinking, well, I am just this, but I want to do that. And they've had people that have said to them, you need to choose. But the reality is, being all of who you are is your differential. It is the reason why you'll be a winner, right? At whatever it is that you do,
Exactly.
because you get to bring all of what you have to the table. Now, you are part of our community, the Giant Circle.
Right.
And I always say that there are other women who inspire each and every one of us inside of that community. Who was it inside of that community, like their story? Maybe you saw a video of their story, or maybe it's someone that you've heard on a call that inspired you.
Hmm. Dr. Lisa, she's in California. And me and her kind of connected because I love what she's working on with divorce is not a destination. And I remember going through my divorce, and to be able to see how she's packaged that. I wish she was around when I went through what I was going through. And so she's in the nursing field as well. And so just to connect with somebody way in California and then still have that synergy and kind of encourage each other and look at the things she's doing within the healthcare system, and really just being excited, because all of us know when you've been doing something a long time, sometimes the fire start to kind of go out a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when you get something that re-sparks that fire, and my husband says it all the time. He peeks in the door. You gonna be in that much longer? I'm like, what time is it? You know, because I'm in that zone now. And I remember that with nursing. I mean, I've worked 8 or 9 days straight, and somebody would say, you need to take a day off. And so, you know, you transition out of different things because our body changes, you know, running the floor and lifting patients and pulling patients. I knew I needed to transition out and use more of you know, what I've developed, my wisdom. And I think sometimes we kind of get a bad rep on that. People will say, oh, you know, they're getting old, they in the office now. No, the office is a promotion, but people try to act like we're like put away. And so you have to really speak up for yourself and know that as you're in a career and you're young, you go through phases of it. And when it's time to go in the office and be the brains of the company, don't let anybody tell you that that's like a demotion, because it's not. Because 9 times out of 10, we're probably making more than we were made on the floor working weekends and holidays. But now you're a part of the things that may have been challenging when we worked the floor. So I always encourage nurses, if they, you know, want to be a part of the solution, it might require you to be in a room and really looking at statistics and stuff, and not, you know, don't always think your hands have to be in it for you to be valuable. And I
So
think,
I love this, right? I love this perspective because I feel like um, we have a lot of nurses inside of our community, and a lot of times we have a lot of followers who are nurses or from a medical
right,
profession, and to understand that you can leverage your knowledge, you can use your skills in completely different ways that have another level of value. And I also love the fact that I know that you and Lisa um, have supported one another. And I know Lisa came to one of your film festivals, right, to support
yes,
you, which I think is very powerful in a community, right? To have a
yes,
community, it's one thing to be in a coaching community, and everybody there, and you don't really know anyone. But for Lisa to show up and come to support you,
Yeah.
in was it in California that she met you?
Yes, she came to
Okay.
California. Well, she lives there, and she came out to see me. And I didn't really think I would meet her because she was like, "I think I'm gonna be able to make it." And then once you get there, it's total chaos. You got to run all around. And then she was there, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And then she did an interview, and it was so cool to see her. And it let me know that sometimes you're doing stuff and you don't feel like it might be real until you can touch something. And with COVID, we just kind of been trusting. And so to see her after joining the community, I was like, okay, this is really moving. And she's doing well too. So I was excited for her.
Well, I think it's great to be in a community where you're with people your own ambition level and above, and that they can hold a space for your bigness. That there's room for you to be all of who you are, right? And for them to be all of who they are. That's what makes the community great. And I love celebrating women who get that. And I love being a coach, working with giants. I only work with giants. And
Yeah.
I often say that I love working with women who will exceed me. And I think a great coach has the ability to receive that. You want to see your clients do amazing things. And we get to hear it every single week on Tuesdays. You signed up for the Giant Experience Masterclass. Maybe was it a year ago or something like that? When did we start working together?
I think it was around March. I came in after the class when you had COVID because we were going to start and you got
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and then I started in that one.
Okay. So, all right. So you started in March. You came through the Giant Experience Master Training. And what was your experience? Because here it is. I mean, you didn't know me necessarily. What was your experience at the Giant Experience Master Training?
Well, I knew you were going to inspire me and guide me to take bigger steps. I was moving because I'm a firm believer in just keep going. And you said something that I say all the time. You say, say yes and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I've said that probably 10 times. And I'm like, as soon as I get in the car, I was like, what did I just do? But it works out because it really does. At first it's scary, but then it gives me strength to say, okay, it's showtime. Let's get it going. And so I have a company as well called Kidney Keepers. And I had the opportunity to present last week at an elementary school in the city of Richmond. And it went phenomenal. I was expecting 5 people, then it was 35 people, then it was 60 people in the room. And the amazing part about it was I kind of, went over things with you in our session, but they had a death that occurred like 2 days before I spoke. A student was killed because it was in the city. And so the principal emailed me that morning and she said, I still want you to come, but is it any way you can talk to us about the grieving process and strengthen my teachers? And I said, yes, I sure will. Say yes to everything. And so I kind of shift everything around and I gave them that time at the beginning of my presentation. And as I've gotten emails back from her and other teachers, that really resonated with them the most. They did enjoy the kidney part, and they've invited me back for another meeting to talk about my course. But they needed that, and I provided it. And they had a safe space to cry. And I explained to them about being their brother's keeper because they really are in this inner city school. They have a lot of deaths there, and they're waiting on some help. And I told them they have to come up with a strategic plan amongst them. And they shared with me that even though someone had gotten killed, they only had 4 kids absent throughout the week because the parents trusted them to take care of their children. Whereas sometimes when that happens, kids, you don't send your kid back to school for a couple of days. So I really was excited that they shared that with me, and I left them some tools and I gave them some giveaways that was more relaxing and meditation, stuff like that. So I had to kind of flip my presentation a little bit the morning of, but it was great. It was supposed to be an hour. It ended up being 2 hours because I gave them time to cry and to look at the resources I had. And then I made sure I had a list of resources already sent to the school. So I learned from you that you adjust to your your client what they need. And so they trusted me with that, and they appreciated it.
So I love this because it is absolutely true. And the fact of the matter is, you don't need cliff notes if you are teaching what you know, okay, and you are teaching absolutely what you know and serving from that place. You don't need to read that. You know,
Right.
it's inside you. And I think this is true for any single person that's watching this broadcast, is that you are, you know, you're great at what you do. And once you come up with your framework and your formulas for what it is that you do at the highest level, it doesn't matter who you're in front of or what kind of changes you need to make. You understand the highest level way to be able to do that. Now, you came through the Giant Experience Master Training, and I really want to focus in on this master training, Robyn, so that the viewers that are watching who would benefit from the training really understand what you got from that training. March, you and I met. How did you find out about the Giant Experience Master Training to begin with?
Social media, you popped
Okay.
up because I do a lot of online learning, and you
Okay.
popped up, and you kept popping up. And so I said, let me follow her and see,
Okay.
what all you were talking about. And you had some videos when you used to work out. Well, not that you don't work out now, but it was
You got
years
that
ago.
right. Okay. Okay.
It was years ago, and I liked that every morning you was like inspiring people. I said, this is good. And so I decided I would really take a closer look at the program, and you offered a free weekend, and then a master class. And then I was like, I've got to do this, because I felt that was the missing piece for me, because I feel like I've got a lot of gifts and talents, but you were able to help me to get things solidified on which way I needed to go. And so kidney health is my passion. I love working with dialysis patients and preventing kidney disease. And then the filmmaking helps me to be able to articulate it better, because everybody is not just a reader. They have to see stuff, and it has to touch their heart for them to really um, for them to make a change. And like I was saying, going to the school, even though I was there and I spoke about grief and then kidney health, I explained to them that all of us in the room, probably our blood pressure is a little elevated because they've been through an emotional trauma. And then I'm here speaking to people I've never met. However, it shouldn't stay that way. And
Yeah.
then we did some breathing exercises and different things like that. So I feel like you can incorporate your superpower into anything. And I think the master class with you really helped me to get myself in alignment with which way I was going, and then lay out a plan. And then the coaching calls are so valuable. I write more notes from what other people are asking, because sometimes you don't even know to ask the question, and then you're looking at how you can better serve your clients as well. So I think the coaching calls are valuable, and you really meet people that you can get offline and talk to a little bit more after. So I think those things really resonate with me, because I don't have that outside of the giant circle. And that's what I think most people go through. You don't
Yeah.
have people on your same level or have the vision that you have. I spoke at a women's summit on
Yeah.
Friday and had about 400 women there, and they asked me the question about women working together. Why is it such a struggle? And, we talked about sometimes we can be judgmental, but once you find your tribe, you don't have to worry about all that catty stuff. It just flows. And the women there, they all agree. They say, I've been trying to open up this, but people keep saying, no, why you got to do that? You have a good job and this and that. I said, that's not your tribe. You have to find people that think like you and have visions like you, because if not, it'll take you years. And I have good friends, but I can't talk to them about any of this at all. So if I'm not on a giant call, I'm in my office strategically developing it, because if I show them, I got to spend an hour explaining what it all means, because they don't understand why. You're making all this money with the government. Why you got to do this? And it's like, it's bigger than that. And I haven't shared, but I retired 90 days ago.
Yeah.
So I don't work for the government, but I'm still a nurse, but I'm with my own company.
Yeah. Sure.
That is the best feeling ever. to be my own CEO. So when things change or the customer needs something different, I don't have to go to anybody. I just make it happen.
So I love this because I agree with you that, finding your tribe, people your own ambition level and above is the answer. And
Yeah.
it is so true. I've coached so many women over the years and that have totally found their people inside of our community. You don't have to play small, you don't have to pretend. You can just be all of who you are. And I think it's important to have communities that have that. The other thing that's really important also when you are high achieving is that you want to be in environments with people who are running like you're running. They're running their own race, but they're running. And so you don't have to slow what you're doing, slow it down, or the level of understanding is at a level where every single person can grow. And I love that about the community that we have. The questions that are asked on the call really respect the time, right? That it
Exactly.
respects the time that we have. It's not even a waste of time, the kind of questions, because people really want to and believe that they can achieve significant success. We've had an amazing, I have an amazing track record of clients who create amazing success, like literally over and over and over again. And it literally is because even if you are in a beginning stage in your business, you're still learning from someone that's ahead, maybe 10 steps or 20 steps, because they're more experienced as an entrepreneur and you have the opportunity to grow. And I think the other thing that's really unique about our community is that we aren't celebrating that someone just put up a landing page. Okay. We're not celebrating, like sometimes there are these small things that get celebrated that we know at the end of the day, they don't translate to you creating real change and effect in your life and your business. And it's
Right.
really true. And I love the fact that when you guys come to the call, you come with substantive things that really means that you're moving and doing the work. We were just on the call last week and Muriel was sharing how, she's just, pitched her first big ticket contract. And it's pretty cool, right? Like
Yeah.
listening to the whole process and watching someone who didn't have the contract walk through the steps to be able to do that, grow their mindset, their belief system, do the work that was necessary. The one thing that we didn't do was focus on, oh, you got your landing page up. Okay. Well, that's part of the process, but that's not the most important part because you can close without any of those things. The most important
Exactly.
part is understanding your idea, how to package it, how to price it, to fully value what you're doing, and to understand how to position yourself in the marketplace as the obvious choice. What makes you different from everybody else? And that's so important today because people want to copy what they think works. When in reality, if you just do what you're amazing at, you can create significant success from that. And there's a level of security and peace and joy that goes along with that and fulfillment. And we heard you talk about that tonight. And then also knowing how to pitch, how to close, how to sell is a systematic process for yourself. And knowing that it's not what everybody else does, it's what you should do based on what your core offering is. If there was one piece of advice, Robyn, that you have for our viewers tonight, what's the one piece of advice that, knowing what you know today, you would share with our listeners about taking their next step and taking their next journey?
Get out of your own way, because a lot of things that have stopped me or slowed me down, I feel like I've done a lot in a little bit of time. However, I'm the one that's got those thoughts in my head that give me that fear factor. And so working in the giant circle and reading the book, what you say to yourself when you're by yourself, is that correct?
What to say to yourself when you talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself. And that book helped me because now I can stop those thoughts. Even just getting up in the morning saying, "Oh man, I'm so tired." I don't say that. I said, "Let's go. We got to make it happen." And I changed the way I talk to myself. And then I keep a list by my desk now of everything that I accomplish. And long as I get at least 3, most of the time it's 15 to 20 because I'm pretty, quick at doing stuff and I already know what I was going to do. I leave a list the day before so I know what I'm doing when I sit down in here And so just really getting out of your way and trust the process, because if you keep a list of what you're doing, you won't feel like you're not moving. You'll be able to go back and say, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I called so-and-so, I emailed so-and-so, I followed up on this. You can't do everything, but make a couple moves each day, and the ones that are really important. And I have to really use that for me, because I've got so many things happening. And when I talked to you about this, Mia, it was described as abundance. You know how
Yeah.
we say God will open up the windows of heaven, and it's
Yes.
like every day something is coming. And I just went to a women's conference last week, and my girlfriend, she owns a lot of adult homes, and she's been talking to me about helping her open up recovery homes, which are necessary for people that have addictions. And so met somebody at the conference that heard me speak, and they pitched their idea to me because they got all this money. And I said, well, okay, let's meet next week and talk about it. And they said, I know you might say you don't have any experience in recovery homes, but you got experience in success. And so I want to sit down with you. And I said, absolutely. You're right about that. I can make stuff happen. And so we go say we're gonna sit down this week, but they text me today to say that they were impressed with everything I said, and that they've been on my social media pages and all of that. And that's so important at this level, that they see you doing positive things and carrying yourself in a professional way. So I'm just glad that I did join the Giant Circle, because I don't think I was doing a lot of things wrong. I was just kind of like procrastinating on other stuff, because sometimes you don't have anybody to say, oh, that's right. And you move slower. And so being in the Giant Circle, I can call some of my peers and say, hey, oh yeah, I did that. Or yeah, you better ask her on the call tonight and see, but this is what she told me. So you have a group of people, because if not, it takes you longer by yourself. And I feel like having a great coach like Mia puts you in the front of the line, but you still got to do the work. You're going to be in the front, but now you got to take your tasks and get them done. And so that's why I love being in my office, because I can see the manifestations of my dreams. And I shared with the team a while back, I feel like I'm walking in that dream
Yeah.
every time. It's just a feeling I cannot describe.
Well, I love this because when you were speaking, I was just thinking about exactly those words, which is um, when you when you hit the dream that you intended, and you feel like you're inside the dream, and you look around and you realize, like, this is the thing I was visioning, this is the thing that was on my vision board, and I
Mhm.
am actually inside the dream, right?
Yes.
Like, so
Yes.
when you're winning these awards for your film, okay, you are inside of the dream, okay.
Mhm.
And I think that that's pretty amazing, and it just really speaks to who you are and your commitment to your talent and your craft. And it's so funny because a lot of times when you are inside of that dream, you feel like you're moving in slow motion because of the awe of the thing that you were hoping would happen. The thing that was in your mind's eye is actually you're realizing it in real time. And we've talked a lot about it. I know for me that was definitely being signed to a television show for the very first time. And I remember the moment that I shot my first segment, and it went amazing, and it was an amazing couple of days, and I was walking back to the hotel, and instantly I felt like I think I might faint.
Yep.
But I was inside the dream. It was so big. It was so spectacular and awesome that it takes your breath away. The what we can do, what God has given us with our talents and our
Yes.
skills, and you realize. And you tell me what you think about this, Robyn. That your talents and your skills, they're not for you. They're actually impact to make an impact and to touch others. And the more we show up and share those gifts with others, the greater the impact that we get to make. What are your thoughts on that?
There are certain steps you go through in life, and when you get to this phase of life, it's that service phase.
Yes.
And your ultimate mission is to serve others. Not to say you're not getting paid for it, but you're putting everything out there that has been put into you through your years of experience, through your faith, and just helping people in the biggest way possible. Because I looked at, you shared with us show and tell, tell and show. You
Yes.
say you show and tell. And so you say you should always introduce yourself with film or short clip. And I created 2 separate clips along the way, and I've been using them for different events. But when they asked me on Saturday to open up the gala, people were paying $300 a ticket, open the gala, and then we performed the song. I had to dig deep, and I created a historical film that talked about all the African American nurses in history. And then I put my 2 introductory films behind it because I was paving the pathway for the future. And that was my role. And then after that, I sung. And they talked about it from the beginning to the end. Oh my God, I've never seen an introduction like that. Because, everything that I've done, I was in a different outfit and it was popping up there. It wasn't that I dressed for all of that. I used all the clips from all of my events. And Mia, she taught us that. So I didn't want that boring bio or anything. So I've gotten like 5 calls. People want me to create that for them because they said, oh my God, it was just like mind blowing. They saw me selling my merchandise on Saturday, and I met with a lot of the doctoral students there. But once I went into that other mode of business, they were like, oh my God, you're so humble. And I'm like, I'm just me. But they saw me on a whole nother level. And I had the opportunity to set up big meetings with universities behind it. They were like in line to talk with me. And a lot of it was that video that gave them everything that I was and have done. And it was maybe 14 minutes of footage. And so I was like, this is good. This is really good. And so those things are valuable. So whenever somebody says, send me your bio, I send them a video. And they're like, oh my God, I love this. But this is the first time I ran the 2 together. And then the historical piece. So now I have something even more powerful. So I just, the things that you teach us, nobody has ever taught that or even, emulated it at all. And now, these DMP nurses of color saying, I need that because they speak a lot too. And I'm like, okay, so that opened up another revenue of income for me and my team. And I'm like, you just never know where it's coming from. And you just need to say yes and figure it out.
I love this. So we did get a comment from I'm not sure who it is, but said hello. I enjoy these incubator lives, Miss Roots. You are phenomenal, and I love your story. And and so I just love this. And we invite your comments. If you have a comment or a question for Robyn, we would love to address that right now. Robyn, you've been a phenomenal guest, and I agree, very humble in the way you share what you've been able to do. You've had a huge year, and you're going to have an even greater, future, right? In film, obviously, and in business, in your company. And it's amazing to watch how you've taken your knowledge, your background, your expertise, and how you've positioned yourself, right, as the authority in what it is that you do. And I love watching you, and I love your example, and I love how you work. And the truth of the matter is, you get more done than you're even right.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Because
you have to keep going. And like I said, I just met somebody that want me to open this recovery center. I'm flying out of here Wednesday night for training 2 days to get this certification for them. And then I'm coming back, and I'm like, I can work on my other stuff on the plane and the hotel, but I'm not going to miss this opportunity because at the end of the day, they got the money, they got the team. They just need somebody to put it together. And you work the floor, and you get there, you got 3 nurses and 14 patients, and the doctor's sick. You make it happen because the patients are not going anywhere. So I know that I can do this. And if not, I hire some more experts and we're going to make it happen.
I love this. So I have enjoyed having this conversation with you. And if there's someone out there that wants to connect with you, and I'm sure there is, how can they find you? How your social media, or your email, or how can they reach you?
Well, Instagram is under Robyn Roots, and that's Robyn with the Y, Robyn, Roots, Roots. And then I have a 2020 Year of the Nurse Instagram, and then Closer Production, which is my production company, and that's a KLOSA Productions. And then on Facebook, I also have, well, let me say one more IG. I have my Kidney Keeper there as well. And then on Facebook, I have Kidney Keepers, and I have Robyn Roots and Closer Productions. And on LinkedIn, we have Kidney Keepers and Robyn Roots. And I do have a website for Closer Productions as well, and that has my bio and all kind of great things, and where I'm at and what I'm doing. So I can be reached easy.
I love it. So you're everywhere, which I love this. And I know that this is just the beginning for you. And I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to get your story and to share it with others. I know that you inspired our viewers today. And I appreciate you for being here. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to be here. So I want to thank you personally for joining me for the Results Incubator this evening.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. You always come right at the right time. I think the last time we talked, I was in California getting ready for the film festival, and I needed that boost from you, and I needed this today. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Yeah, I thank you for being here. As always, I want to thank you for watching. And this was amazing. Was this amazing or was it amazing? As always, and if you're watching the replay, great. I'd love to hear your comments and invite you equally to join us inside of the Giant Experience Master Training Online. It is an incredible, incredible first step if you want to know how to package your knowledge into a high ticket product on or offline. And I've coached thousands of women, over the last 20 years, and hundreds have come through the Giant Experience Master Training. And the one thing that happens for each and every person, they're able to step into seeing what they do as a high valued product or service that creates tremendous impact. Jacqueline Baker writes, thank you. So amazing. And thank you, Mia and Robyn. So thank you, Jacqueline, for sharing 100%. I'll post the link here also for the Giant Experience so you guys can check it out. I look forward to joining you soon. I'm going to come on for a live Q&A at 9. For those of you who are watching, come back and join us at 9 o'clock. And I'd love to answer any questions that you might have around packaging, pricing, position of finding buyers. With that, good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.